Hi Yogis, Tess here. Today we're going to be looking at the sun salutations, and we're going to do a flow through the sun salutations, looking at each posture individually, one at a time. I would advise watching this through, just watch the whole thing through before you attempt to do it. You'll find you'll kind of know what's coming then, and it will make more sense, and you won't be kind of stopping to check the screen. You'll have some idea of where we are, but do watch it through. Similarly, whenever you do an online class, do a warm-up, and the sun salutations is a great way to warm up. And I would take that same, I would do the same thing for any online class. Try to watch it through first, obviously unless it's live, but try to watch it through first and work out where in your mind whether you need to do more of a warm-up than that class may be offering. So keep yourself safe, yogis, look after your body, warm up well, and then go into the class. So first of all, we're going to come onto the mats. We're going to come to the front of our mat, and the first pose that we're going to look at in our sun salutations is the classic Tadasana, the standing posture. I'm just going to turn and face the camera first of all. Now, classically, we stood with the toes together, your big toes together, and a little distance between your heels. All right. I'm starting to teach more and more in my classes that, if you want to stand with your feet, slightly apart, hip width distance apart, then this is good also. Because, we've all got different shaped bodies, and this might accommodate your shape nicer than trying to, cram your legs in, so work with what you've got as long as you're grounding down through the feet. So come to standing at the front of the mat, choosing the foot position of your choice. Maybe just rock the body forwards and backwards, and then bring yourself to a place of center pointedness where you are equally spreading the weight over the balls and the heels of your feet, and you could perhaps just fan and lift the toes a little. Neutralize the spine by just letting the tailbone be long down towards the ground. Try not to overtly tuck it under or stick it out, kind of this like little twerking kind of movement. Sometimes ladies, we can be a bit sway backed here. Just try to neutralize the spine and just have a sense of length as it comes down towards the ground. Perhaps draw the shoulders up towards your ears and just let your shoulder blades glide down the back, and let your arms come to hang in a natural, easy position as well. Fingers just gently curling by your sides. Very often here we can jut the head forwards. This is kind of a, this kind of slouchy. We're kind of like this all the time. So be mindful of where your head is. Your head weighs, about 20 pounds, I think, and for every inch you jut it forward, it gets heavier and heavier. And then we end up, nobody wants a dowager's hump, right? No, nobody wants a dowager's hump. So let's bring that head back. Tuck the chin in, but don't downturn the face. Just draw the chin back in. Feel a sense of lengthening up through the back of your neck, and send the energy of your crown up towards the sky. So stand tall. Energy is coming up and energy is going down. This is your Tadasana. And the more you do this, what I love is you recognize how badly you stand in other places, like I just demonstrated. You're in the queue at Sainsbury's and you're like, and then you suddenly go, oh shit, I don't do that in my yoga class. Let's stand it upright, ironing, washing up. We start to stand tall, stand straight, let everything stack on top of itself, head on top of shoulders, on top of hips, on top of knees, on top of your ankles, one nice long straight line. So there's your Tadasana. I'm going to bring our palms to the heart center, and we're going to move into our first pose, which is our Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing salute. You're going to press the palms together, and you're going to push them up through the center line, up towards the sky. You're going to take the head back so the upper arms are in front of your head, and you're going to look up at your thumbs. Nice straight line through the body. Are we nice and straight there? And just find length as you extend or open up through the side body as you reach up towards the sky. Then we're going to flick the palms to face forwards here, and we're going to bring the head in line with the upper arms now, and we're going to forward fold, much like we're folding over a bar across our hip creases. So we're not folding from the waist, as I see sometimes in class. We're trying to keep a right angle and through a nice pike position all the way down to the ground. Now some of you may be super deep and come into quite a nice deep forward fold. Others of you may like to just bring the palms onto your shins, maybe just below the knees, mid or ankles. But wherever you get to in this Uttanasana, let the head hang. Let it hang and take a moment to take that gaze through your legs to the room behind you. This is important to fully engage with this pose. Sometimes this little chap can be whizzed through and not fully felt. And every pose in the sun salutation should be engaged with and felt fully before you move on to the next pose. So wherever you are, just bring yourself into your Uttanasana. And don't be surprised if you're up here to begin with, and as you go through your rounds, you'll gradually release and relax and soften and get into a deeper pose. So don't force the body. Don't look for something deeper until your body has softened and warmed up. And again, if you're using this as a warm-up, then don't bully. If you want to put a little soft bend into the knees, if you're tight into the hamstrings, this is cool also. Then bend into the knees if you hadn't already done so. Take your fingertips either side of your feet, and we're going to step the right foot to the back of the mat. Now, in my experience, I do a 3-hour workshop on this, okay? So this is going to be all crammed into like 45 minutes. So I'll try and go on, the most important things. Now, what I normally find in this pose, or what people do, is they just take a little half-hearted step back. And they're like, yeah, this will do, drop a knee down. And then it all is very crunched up. What you need to do is really get behind that pushing the foot back, send your body weight and really, be brave and send the body weight behind that foot and get it back to as far as you can to the back of the mat. The knee here is over the ankle joint comfortably. And then we lower the back knee down to the ground. Flatten off the back foot. And lift the heart and look forwards. Another classic mistake here is to stay in this rounded position, rounding through the back, looking down at the floor like, oh no, I don't want to look. I don't want to be seen. Take up your space. Be confident and proud to be here in this pose. Look forwards. And you may be in a class and you've got somebody opposite you. Just look through them. Find that drishti, that 1,000-yard stare where you just look through that person, and look beyond them. Then flatten the hands off on the ground, tuck the toes behind you, lift up the back knee. Now we're going to step back into our downward facing dog. So this is Ardha Mukha Shavasana, and this is that kind of triangle pose that you see on your mat. Now, for the beginner, what I would suggest here is don't worry about having the heels off the ground. That's not the destination of the pose. But we're trying to lower the weight into the heels. So don't come up onto the balls of the feet. Have the feet hip width distance apart. Lower the heels to the ground. If you want a soft bend in the knees because your hams are tight, your calves are tight, this is fine also. At the front here, we're looking to have the hands, the palms flat to the floor, slightly turned out so that we have the index finger making a direct line to the front of the mat. We're trying to push, I just dropped down here, we're trying to push all our weight or press all our weight into the thumb mounds, the thumbs and the fingertips, okay? So don't turn your hands in. Don't turn them out too far. Again, don't have the fingers together like little mole hands, okay? All right, we want the fingers broad and wide, nice stable base. Index finger pointing to the front of your mat. The reason for this is the inside, this big thick inside bone loves weight put down on it. Outside bone doesn't like it at all. So when you roll onto the outside of your hands, you will put too much weight up onto the outside of the bone, and that's where we can get issues and injuries. So try to keep the weight on the thumb mounds, into the thumbs and into the forefinger. All right, so when they're on the mat, and then press down through the balls of the feet, lower the heels to the ground, and press the ground away through the front of the mat so that you're lifting your hips up high and back behind you. Don't worry too much about your shape in this pose to begin with. Just start with that energy of the hips going up and back. So you're pushing the ground away from you at the front. And when you're in this pose, if you try to have the picture of a little dog, you know, when they stretch out and their tails just curl over their backs like little crescents, if you feel that, if you see that in your mind's eye and you can feel it in your body, then you're going in the right direction. Then we're going to ripple forwards to a high plank, and we're going to lower the knees down, all in one go, one swift action there, down onto all fours. Now you might notice that my knees are a little bit further back behind me. I haven't found myself in a tabletop position where the thigh bone is, what's the word there, vertical to the floor, perpendicular to the floor. Perpendicular to the floor. Okay, so if you find yourself when you drop the knees that your thigh bone is plumb line straight down to the ground, you're going to find the next move super freaking hard, in fact almost impossible. And I see students in class, as we then come down to our 8-point pose, they take the chest down in between the hands and they're like, and it's all a bit crunched up and it's really painful and almost impossible. So don't do that. Make sure that when you come from your downwards facing dog, your dog is long enough. And if you have a short dog, this is going to be difficult too. You're going to ripple forwards, you're going to lower the knees, and look where, and then, yeah, just look, it's just, no, it's not happening, okay? So when you go into your dogs, make sure that your dogs are long. And this is why from here, throwing the foot back is important. If we take a half-hearted step to here, everything else, oh yeah, look at me, I got my heels on the ground. It's not the destination. Ripple forwards, drop the knees. Oh fuck, it's not going to happen. So, Uttanasana, send that foot back. If you need to, wiggle it back a bit more. Step back into that down dog. Then ripple forwards, high plank, lower the knees. Look at the angle of my thigh bone. Now, we can take the chest down in between the thumbs. So just shift forwards a little, and your heart, this space here, not your face, okay? I see quite a few people trying to get their face down, and that's not going to happen either. You want to take the heart space in between your thumbs. So keep the elbows tucked in to your sides, and the hips stay high. Your face will probably be just off the mat on the ground here, chin to the floor, and look, my hips are just up in the sky. Kind of wishing I hadn't just had that pain au chocolat right now, as it's starting to repeat on me in this pose. Yeah, don't come to your class, you know, don't eat for about an hour before your yoga class, everyone. Then we're going to tuck the tailbone down. We're going to separate the feet as we simultaneously lift the upper body to our baby cobra, Bhujangasana. Now here in this pose, baby Bhujangasana, the tricks of this one are, be light in your hands. You should be able to take the hands away, and wherever you are is your baby cobra. The hands are just lightly on the ground here. It's not until we go into full Bhujangasana that we would push into the palms and bring ourselves up. But for your first couple of rounds, just take a baby Bhujangasana, lighten the palms, all on the core muscles. Squeeze these glutes. I want them tight. So they're like, you know, you could bounce peanuts off them, and roll your heels in towards each other. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Chin back to the floor. Now you can tuck the toes. You can peel up the upper body onto your knees. You can gracefully take the hips back towards your heels as you just protract your shoulder blades forwards for a moment, and then lift the hips and sweetly sink back into this down dog. Now we're working our way back up towards the sky. If If you wish, you could just step forwards with the right leg. I kind of like to do a three-legged dog. And here, guys, if you step your other leg into the center, you'll create a nice stable tripod between the 3 points to lift up into your three-legged dog. Look between your thumbs, and you're going to set the foot down as far as you can to the front of the mat. Now, what we want here is to get the foot in between the thumbs to lower back down into that low lunge. But what's usual for the novice or the beginner yogi is they will stub the foot about here. Now, in my classes, I will not teach you to grab the, let me just swap it over so you've got a better visual there. I will not teach you to do that, because all you'll get is a really strong arm, but it will interfere with your breath flow. And when you come into putting the breathing in with this flow, which is what makes it yoga, doing that will really upset your breath. So try not to get into the habit of getting the foot through by using the arm. So if you are struggling with getting the foot through and you're getting to here, you've got two options. You can just stay here. Come up onto the fingertips, press the back heel to the ground so you can feel a big stretch into that calf. Don't worry about the low lunge. Everybody else here will be in a low lunge, you'll be here. Then push off the back foot, drag the fingertips towards you, you'll come into a Uttanasana. Then you're going to sweep the palms to the sky, and then you'll step forward. You'll exhale your hands back to your heart center, and you and everybody else will be in exactly the same place to start again. Well, I am going to show you a little things that you can do to get the foot through, or little tricks that you can start to do to help bring that foot through a little deeper. So let's just take it up into a three-legged dog. What you can do is come up onto the fingertips of the side that you are trying to get the leg through. Come up onto the balls of the feet, so we create more space between our body and the floor. So there's more space for that leg to move into. You're going to take a dish out and in to the side. So this leg, just swing it out and in. So it goes out and in, out and in, out and in. And then gradually, let me bring it here, you'll be able to flatten off the foot, lower into that back heel, and you'll get it through. Ooh, I'm slipping. You'll be able to get it through to the foot, into between the hands. And so, eventually it'll go all the way through. So those of you that can get the foot through straight away in between the thumbs, you will come into your low lunge again, sink into the hips, lift up through the heart. Let me just adjust my clothing. And then you're going to push off the back foot. Everybody now will be in a forward fold. Some of you will be at the front of the mat. Some of you may be in the middle. Fully let that head hang. And then bend the knees, and everybody will sweep up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale. All right, we cool? Sweet. Let's do it all together. So you've watched that through. You've probably done it, may have done it yourself. Let's do it all together. So everybody, and we're gonna do one round. I'll just talk you through it. And the next round, I'm gonna cue the breath, okay? And if you want to know how to breathe correctly for yoga, I'm gonna do an Ujjayi breath, just on Ujjayi breath, ocean breath, which is what you would use in this practice. All right, everyone, so come up to the front of your mats, bring your palms to your heart center. We're going to do 2 rounds, one each side, one to the right, one to the left. Take a deep breath in. Everybody exhale. Then push your palms up through that plumb line towards the sky. Take the head back behind your upper arms and just find length through the body. Then flip the palms to face forwards, bring the head back in between the upper arms, and hinging at the hips, forward fold all the way down into that Uttanasana, wherever that may be for you. Bend the knees, fingertips either side of the feet, and step your right foot to the back of the mat. Wiggle it back a little bit more, Lower the knee down, sink into the hips, raise your gaze and flatten the back foot off. Every posture should be engaged with fully before we go to the next. Always remember that. Flatten the hands off on the ground, tuck the toes, lift the hips high and step back into your down dog. If you find it hard to take this foot back, come to all fours. And then everybody lift the hips up and settle into the heels. Everybody float forwards to that high plank as you lower the knees down. One nice smooth action. And now take the heart down in. If you find it hard to bend the elbows and come down like so, if there's not much in the upper body, then peel down. Let the hips come through. That's nice. And peel down to the ground. Everybody's down here now. Inhale into that baby cobra, lighten the hands. Remember, they're just there for aesthetics. Squeeze the glutes, roll the heels in towards each other. And then as you breathe out, you'll relax to the floor. Tuck the toes, peel up onto the knees. Take the hips back towards your heels. And exhale as you lift the hips up and back. And again, press the ground away. Hopefully you've got a good mat here. Slippery mats, you know, they can really hinder your practice. So do invest in a good mat. Step the left foot in, right foot high. Send it to as far as you can to the front of the mat. Now I'm going to come to the center here on this round to show you what I would do here. Press into that back heel and then join both the feet together. Drag the hands to your shins, come into Uttanasana. Bend into the knees, sweep the palms to the sky. And exhale, step forwards, hands back to your heart center, a pose we call Namaste. Second side. Inhale, press the palms to the sky, your salute to the sun, flick the palms forwards, right angle hinge all the way down through into Uttanasana. Send the bend into the knees, fingertips either side of the feet. Send your left foot to the back of the mat now as you breathe in. And then find your way to your down dog. I'm going to take the kneeling option. And exhale as you come into that downwards facing dog. Inhale as you come forwards to a high plank. You can lower the knees. And I'm going to peel down here today, feeling like I just want a gentle practice. That's nice. And then inhale as you come into that baby cobra. Take your gaze forwards. Try not to, hide yourself here. Look and see where you're going. Exhale, release the chin to the floor. Tuck the toes, peel up onto your knees, hips back towards heels. Lift gracefully up and settle the weight into the heels, into your Ardha Mukha Svanasana. And step the right foot in, left foot into a three-legged dog. Set it down as far as you can to the front of the mat. Lower into your Anjaneyasana. Then push off the back foot. Find your way into your Uttanasana, forward fold. Bend into the knees, sweep the palms all the way up to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to heart center, Namaste. How are we doing? We good? We're good. I am now going to demonstrate without talking, just 2 rounds. You should hear my breath. You should hear my inhales and my exhales. And then you'll have some idea of where the breath goes. So I'm going to do 2 rounds now without any breathing, just a very simple Surya Namaskar. Okay, so hopefully guys, you heard the breathing there. I hope it comes through on the camera for you. Let me know how you get on, all right? Yeah. See you next time. Ciao.